Good evening, everyone, and welcome into Season 2, Episode 9 of the Forge Podcast, brought to you by Shotgun Sports Network Alabama of the Shotgun Sports Network. My name is Ryan Messer, and we've got a lot to dive into this evening. The Birmingham Bulls wound up opening up the first round of the playoffs. The Stallions wound up celebrating their home opener. The Barons had their first road trip of the season, and the Legion had a very turbulent week before their game this past Sunday. But I want to thank you guys for watching before we get too far. Whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, the Audible, or on iHeart, or wherever you're finding this podcast. But thank you guys for your support, constant support. But we also have to thank Blue Spring Living Water for their constant support and keeping us hydrated. Their naturally minerally enriched water is bottled right at the source, so there's no risk of contamination. And you can find it at a local grocer, or you can get it delivered to your home or office with just a phone call, or go online to bluespringlivingwater.com. And with that, this is Season 2, Episode 9 of the Forge Podcast. All right, we're going to start right off into the Birmingham Bulls, who opened up the playoffs against the Fayetteville Marksmen on Thursday. Things got started up in Fayetteville with Kenny in for the Marksmen and Lotzie in for the Bulls. In the first period, the Bulls wound up outshooting the Marksmen 8-5, but then midway through the second period, Kip Ledzianko wound up starting things up by finding the back of the net. Then 6-17 later, his brother wound up finding the back of the net. And then just 1.5 later, the Marksmen wound up answering back, cutting the lead in half. And then they wound up pulling Kenny with just over 2 seconds left to play in the period. Then in the third, Colton Olnick scored just past the 3-minute mark there. And then just over a minute later, Kip Ledzianko wound up scoring yet again. They were only able to get one more nearly 2 minutes later, but it wasn't enough to hold off the Bulls as they wound up stealing Game 1 in Fayetteville. Then on Saturday, they wound up coming back to Pelham. And Kenny was in the net for the Marksmen again, and Lotzie back in for the Bulls. McGregor Sinclair opened things up just 8.5 into the game. And then with a goal there, and then just over 2 minutes later, Connor Scahill was charged with a high stick. 13 seconds in, things got leveled as the Marksmen were charged with a trip. Kip Ledzianko was now able to put the Bulls up 2-0 shortly after. 30 seconds later, the Bulls were charged with a too-many-men penalty, and they were actually able to capitalize on that just 26 seconds in. Then with just 3 minutes later, the Marksmen wound up tying things up. Then with just over 4 to play in the first, Kenny wound up knocking his goal off the pipes, getting charged with a delay penalty. 2.5 later, Ryan Nolan from the Marksmen wound up knocking over Lots. And then this ensued. As you can see, Scales not happy about his goalie being knocked over there. So, but then just in the second there, Phil Ledzianko was actually assessed an interference penalty midway through, but they wound up evening, going back to even strength just 4 seconds later for a high stick. But then 40 seconds later, Ballant was charged with an interference himself, but they were able to kill off the penalty. Then with 3 to play in the second, the Bulls wound up going on a power play for a slash, but they were not able to capitalize. And then in the third, Drake Glover was able to break the tie and wound up going, scoring what would be the winning goal to seal the sweep of the Marksmen. All right, this coming up weekend, the Bulls will be taking on the Knoxville Ice Bears in the semifinals of the President's Cup playoffs. And they're going to be up there on Wednesday. And then they will come back here on Friday. And then if necessary, they will play on Saturday. And same thing with the Peoria Rivermen, who will be taking on the Evansville Thunderbolts, who just knocked off the Huntsville Havoc this past Saturday. So it's great playoff hockey right now, so it's great to see. So if you can get out there Friday night, make sure you can. Make sure you get out there. Switching things over to the Birmingham Stallions. The Stallions had a championship event on Thursday, and the team came in there and they partied over at the Finnick. Coach Holtz and the players had a brief Q&A session with the whole fan base out there, and then we actually had a chance to talk to him as well. He actually opened up talking about his respect for Coach Stoops and the Arlington Renegades.
Great respect for Bob Stoops and what he's done. We played in college. We played last year against each other. Great respect for him. He's got a heck of a football team. He's got a really good offense. He's got his quarterback, Luis Perez, has led the league in passing touchdowns, etc. Very explosive. I look at him on defense. They've given up 9 points to their 2 opponents this year. They have one of the better defenses in the league. It's going to be a great challenge. They won the XFL the first time they played. Just tons of respect for him and his football team, and it'll be a great challenge. I'm certainly glad we have him at home, and I know the energy that we'll receive from our fans of being back here in Birmingham.
Then he spoke about his the trust that he has for Matt Corral.
I have a lot. Matt has started games here. Matt has won games here. Matt has played. He's been in this offense. It was a back and forth decision to go with Alex over Matt. I've said all along we have 2 quarterbacks that I feel are good enough to win with. We're going to need them both before the year is over. We needed 2 year 1. We needed 2 year 2. Year 2 was the year that Jamar hurt his finger. Then he went out and Alex went on. We needed 2 last year. And right now I've got great trust in him. I'm looking forward to watching him play. I think he's had a great week of practice and excited to watch him continue to grow and develop as a quarterback in this offense.
He closed it out with just talking about the food here in Magic City and what that kind of means to him.
No, my wife and I are going to try and sneak out tonight. After this event and go hit some place here in town. I don't even know where we're going yet. We've got so many to choose from. I told the story. Somebody once told me this is such a foodie town when I first got here. And everybody I met, I said, send me your top 5 restaurants. And I have a list of about 40 restaurants. I still haven't been to them all. It's a great place, and I just really enjoy the city. I'm excited to be back. I feel like we've come back home. So I'm really excited to be here.
Then we had the home opener on Friday. But before the game, it was raining pretty good, but that didn't keep the fans out. They had over 10,000 in the stands, even with the bad weather there. But Arlington got the ball to start the game, and they got 2 first downs before they wound up going 3-and-out, having to punt. Then on the ensuing drive, Corral wound up throwing a pick on 3rd down in their own territory, but the defense was actually able to stand strong and hold them to a field goal. On the next drive, the Stallions wound up being able to move the ball really well and got inside, just right outside the red zone. And then Matt completed a pass to Jace inside the 5-yard line when he wound up fumbling it at the goal line, recovered by the Renegades in the end zone for a touchback. The Renegades were able to move the ball really well, but the defense still held them to a field goal there in the red zone. The next 3 drives all resulted in a punt, but then the Renegades did get the ball to start at the to the Birmingham 2-yard line with the final seconds of the first half before kicking another chip shot field goal to make it 9-0 going into the locker room at half. The Stallions wound up getting the ball to start the second half, and they were able to open the run game a little bit, alternating between CJ, Ricky, and Matt even running it himself. They wound up getting down to the 24-yard line before the Renegades wound up stalling them out there. But they called Harrison Mevis in. He was able to get the chip shot field goal for him. They wound up going back and forth, trading punts for the remainder of the third quarter. It's really good football to watch if you like studying defensive schemes, but it was a really defensive game. I think this is the first time all season that the Renegades were actually held to under 10 points. So you can tell what Coach Chamberlain's really doing with this defense, and what these the leaders such as DeMarcus Gates and JoJo Tillery and many others are just they're leading this defense and really holding. I've got to say it's the best defense in the league. It's no longer Coach Holtz, the offensive, mastermind. He is an offensive mastermind, but he also this team is more than just offense now. We actually know how to prevent points from being scored instead of just running the scoreboard up. So, but this continued inside the 2-minute warning when this happened. But they wound up calling down from the command center and to find out that Barry Wesley, the left tackle there, wound up jumping and resulting in a false start. Um, a lot of people were thinking that Stoops should have been able to decline it, but if you know football, they know that the play would have just stopped at the whistle before the snap, so or at the snap. So it's not like it was a no play penalty. So it's not like they could decline it and they would still get the interception. So they would still. This gave Birmingham the second chance, and then Matt was able to capitalize on it with a first down toss to Marlon Williams. Then they wound up moving the ball and got into the red zone when this happened. such a great finish to an amazing game. I love defense. I love watching, um, the defensive schemes and stuff like that through the game. But it's one of the craziest endings of a game I've ever seen in person. So make sure, Coach Holtz, um, he never gives up. This team never gives up. But post game, Coach Stoops wound up having a conversation with Daryl Johnston about that call.
I You almost wonder if why you ought to be able to decline that penalty in the future. I don't know. I don't know what they do in the NFL, DJ. They don't. Do they review everything? Well, they don't do that. Yeah.
If you missed that call on the field, you wouldn't have been able to bring it back.
Yeah, I could see if Coach Holtz would have challenged it, then maybe, I get it.
The last 2 minutes of each half.
Yeah, they automatic review.
There's something that's going to impact the game, potentially to change the outcome. They
Yeah.
have the ability to step in.
Yeah, but off of an interception, they ought to just look the other way.
Everybody's enjoyed some of the rules.
Then we talked to Coach Holtz, and he started out discussing his initial thoughts on the game.
Well, what a game, huh? What a game. Kept it exciting all the way to the end. But really proud of this football team because they continued to fight. They continued to compete. They never gave up. I want to thank the crowd for everybody that stayed, who had an opportunity to see an incredible finish. There's other people that might have left that heard an incredible finish in the car on their way home. But really, what a testament to the chemistry, to the attitude of these football players, to never give up. We had to have a stop. We go down there, we get stopped in the red zone. Thought about kicking a field goal, but I thought 3 points, 6 points, still puts us in a tie game. So you know what? I decided to go for it on the first one. We don't make it. The defense gets a great stop. Offense gets the ball. And just to add a little bit of dramatic flair, we throw an interception, only to find that we jumped off sides, which maybe one of the few penalties I appreciate this entire season. We did have way too many penalties, way too many missed assignments, way too many mistakes, way too many. We did not execute very well today as an offense. Proud of the way our defense competed. Ronnie, who's up here, did a great job, brought pressure all day. DeMarcus Gates, having him back, he has been a huge impact all over the field. Defense kept him out of the end zone today. Did a great job, really gave up 2 drives that led to a field goal. And then we threw an interception early in the game that led to a field goal. But I thought defense played great red zone defense. They did a heck of a job, and offensively we did just enough to win. We woke up just in time to see a great finish to a great game. So really proud of these players, the way they competed, what they were able to do on the field. But like I said, we have not lost in Birmingham since 2023. And I'm very appreciative to the fans, the energy that they bring and what they do for us here, and how much we enjoy coming back to Birmingham and having the opportunity to play at home.
He then talked about the O-line's performance that night.
I thought the O-line did a really good job of pass protecting, especially since we lost one of our tackles right before the half on defensive field goal block. We lose our starting tackle, and then we lose our center, so we got to put our left tackle at center. Our right guard went over. We started preparing. With 7 linemen, we started preparing our tight end if we were to lose another offensive lineman. So we were down to playing a tight end on the offensive line. With all that taken into effect, I thought they did an outstanding job of protecting the quarterback, especially at the end of the game. Everybody in the stadium knew we were throwing it. We were dropping back. We were in empty. We were in no backs. We were just dropping back and throwing it. We were one-dimensional, telling those ends, tape your ears back and let's go get them. And I thought they did a great job of protecting the quarterback. I thought our run blocking was not very good. And I did not think we ran block. We did not do a very good job with our run blocking, but I do think they did a really nice job of protecting the quarterback in the passing game, which is a far cry from where we were at 8 sacks 2 weeks ago when we played at D.C. And those weren't all on the offensive line, in fairness to them. I mean, a lot of those were on the quarterback holding the ball and trying to scramble and run around a little bit and make some things happen. But I thought they did a really good job pass protecting.
Then Then Matt discussed the performance, his performance, and the offensive performance overall in the game.
Yeah, the defense did a great job. Coach couldn't say that enough, man. They really played like the top defense, like the number one defense in this league for sure. And that's the only reason why we won this game. And they kept us in it. And offense, we did a good job. It was just now to take full responsibility of the offensive whatever that was, and that was we just got to get better, and we got to get on the same page, and I need to do better. That's all.
But overall, this defense looking amazing. Deon Cain, you could really tell that they were missing him, but he was out due to the birth of his kid. So I hate to see, glad to see him, expanding his family, but hated to see him miss this game. But overall, there were a couple of injuries in this game, Marlon Williams and then Cole Schneider. We'll have to look into that later on tonight when they release the injury report. But this week they are heading out to take on the Roughnecks this Saturday, so make sure you tune in if you're not heading out to Texas to watch the game. Switching things over to the Birmingham Barons, who had a few transactions over the past week. On Thursday, we found out, actually Wednesday, we found out mid-game, catcher Omar Narvaez was called up to Chicago. So he was Turner had to move from first to catcher during the game because he wound up getting called up. We also found out on Thursday that Juan Corella was released. So I really enjoyed him. He's a really cool dude. Enjoyed talking to him last season, but it is what it is. It's a business decision there. And then on Friday, we found out Chase Plamel was actually called up to Charlotte. And then on Saturday, we activated Jordan Michael and then activated Sean Gusenberg. I like Gusenberg. He's a really cool dude. Really good player, too. He really came in clutch for us last season. So great to see him back with the team. Then we had a series against Chattanooga this past week. Started out on Tuesday as they wound up taking on the Lookouts. Riley Goins got the start on the mound on Tuesday, and then in the second, he got into a bit of trouble and allowed a score on a wild pitch. And then top of the fourth, with runners on second and third, Oscar Colas wound up hitting a line drive to center field on a single to bring in Veras and Hackenberg. Podkul was able to single to bring in Colas. So great 3-run there. And then in the seventh, with the bases loaded, Veras wound up singling to bring in Riku Nishida and Gonzo. So with the Barons up 5, putting the Barons up 5-1 there. In the top of the eighth, the Jason Matthews wound up stealing third, and Riku Nishida wound up stealing second. On a throwing error, wound up bringing home Matthews there, so great play there. And then in the bottom of the ninth, the Lookouts tried to make a comeback, but only got 2 before the Barons wound up closing it out on defense. The finals for this game were the Lookouts with 3 runs off of 5 hits. There was 1 error, and they left 7 stranded. The Barons had the 6 runs off of 9 hits. There was 1 error, and they stranded 12. On Wednesday, they took on the Lookouts yet again. The Barons got things going in the first with Michael Turner scoring off of a throwing error. The Lookouts were able to tie it up in the third and then take the lead with a run in the fourth. But with the bases loaded in the top of the seventh, Gonzo was able to score off of a wild pitch. And then the Lookouts were able to retake the lead with 2 runs in the second. They scored 2 more in the 8th, and the Barons were just not able to get anything going as they wound up falling. They're 6-2. So for this game, you had the Lookouts with the 6 runs off of 8 hits. There was 1 error, and they stranded 8. And the Barons had 2 runs off of 9 hits. There was no errors, but they stranded 14. On Friday, we saw them go back at it. And then, because the Thursday game wound up getting delayed or postponed due to rain. But DJ Gladney got things started off with a sac fly to bring in William Bergola. And then the Lookouts wound up tying things up in the bottom of the 7th. So they wound up going to extra innings. In the 11th inning, Gladney wound up doubling to bring in Bergola. And then Varys wound up tripling to bring in Gladney. But Varys was able to come home off of a wild pitch. But the Lookouts were not able to get anything going in the bottom of the 11th, so allowing the Barons to win this game. In this game, the Lookouts had the 1 run off of 3 hits. There was 1 error, and they stranded 8. And the Barons had the 4 runs off of 8 hits. There was 1 error, and they stranded 8. On Saturday, we saw the first doubleheader of the season. Saturday on game 1, we saw the Chattanooga Lookouts there. But DJ Gladney was able to hit a RBI grounder to open up the scoring in the top of the 6th. And then we saw Sal Stewart from the Lookouts able to hit a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 7th to win game 1. So the Lookouts had 4 runs off of 7 hits. There were no errors, and they stranded 6. The Barons only had 1 run off of 2 hits. They had no errors, but they stranded 5. On game 2 of Saturday, we saw the top of the first, Gonzo coming in off of a Camilletti ground single. But then the Lookouts wound up tying it up in the bottom of the first with 2 runs of their own. Actually taking the lead with 2 runs of their own. Then in the second, Riku Nishida wound up tying things up with an RBI single to bring in Sean Gusenberg. And then with in the 5th, we saw Turner ground 1 right back to the pitcher to bring in DJ. And then the fielding and pitching was able to close it out and split the doubleheader with the Lookouts there on Saturday. So the Lookouts had the 2 runs off of 2 hits. There was 1 error, and they stranded 2. The Barons had 3 runs off of 10 hits. There were no errors, and they stranded 8. Then on Sunday, you want to talk about a game. We saw Mario Camilletti come in and bring in Bergola off of a bases-loaded line drive single. And then Omar Colas was able to hit a sac fly to bring in Gonzo. And then Hackenberg was able to clear the bases off of a line drive double to bring to left field to make it 4-0 in the top of the first. The Lookouts were able to get 1 back in the bottom of the first off of a balk. But in the top of the third, we saw Varys hit a solo shot to right center field. And then, with the bases loaded, Omar Colas was able to score off of a balk, making it 6-1. The Lookouts did get another run in the bottom of the fifth, but then in the top of the sixth, we saw DJ Gladney hit a grounder to left field, bringing in Riku Nishida and Bergola. And then we also saw Varys ground into a double play, but Gonzo was able to score off of that. Then with the bases loaded, then they wound up loading the bases back up, and Jacob Burke got up and hit a grand slam to bring in Mario, Colas, and Hackenberg. And then Riku Nishida was able to score his second run of the inning off of a William Bergola double. So, big inning. It's rare you get to see the same player score two runs in the same inning. So, great batting out there for the Birmingham Barons. The Lookouts were just shut out the remainder of the game, winning it for the Barons there. And for the Lookouts, they had 2 runs off of 6 hits. There were no errors, and they stranded 7. The Barons had the 14 runs off of 18 hits. There was 1 error, and they still stranded 9. So, great, like I said, great bats out there. We've been getting on base. I've got to say that. I love to see that we have one of the best OBSs in the Southern League right now. And I'm not sure. We just got to, it's just the games we lost. We had the OBS. It's just the fact that we couldn't get them home. So, continuing to see some of the stuff that we saw last year, this team just melding together. And hopefully we can see it continue as they go back home this week. They're actually home tonight, taking on the Biloxi Shuckers. So we're going to go out there this weekend and check them out, and hopefully get a win, another series win, as they wound up winning their first series of the season. Switching things over to the Legion FC. Wednesday morning, we wound up seeing a series of posts on X from head coach Tommy Sohn. He said, "Found out this morning that I will no longer will be coaching the Birmingham Legion. Wanted to thank all the staff I was able to work beside over the last 6 years. Your hard work, dedication, and loyalty will always be cherished. It was a pleasure working with each and every one of you, and I want to thank all of the players, past and present, for their dedication each and every day, through good times and bad. To all the fans, thank you for accepting me and my family into this city, that we have grown to love soccer, and the Legion have grown so much through my time here. I hope it will continue, and thanks for the memories, Tommy Sohn." Very emotional day for everybody that has loved this team. It's very emotional for anybody that, like I said, that's loved this team, watched this team, been watching it since the Hammers. I mean, it's been a crazy roller coaster to see where these guys have come today. But then the team wound up later making a statement. Jay Heaps wound up saying in the statement that this was an incredibly difficult decision and one that was not taken lightly, because Tommy played a pivotal role in building the foundation of this club. However, the results and performances have not progressed, and we feel a change was necessary at this time to move the club forward. We thank Tommy for his hard work and dedication to our organization and wish him and his family the best moving forward. So, love Jay Heaps as well. Really good dude. And really, we talked about this a few months ago. We had a whole episode that we were talking about the Coach Sohn and the Legion and what went down. But it's just the fact that he wasn't progressing to where they needed to be. And even Kaylor Hodges, we talked to him a few months back, and he said that he doesn't see, him being the coach to the end of the season. And with the Ruffs not having a win after, I think, 4 games, it's insane. And it's not like we didn't see it coming. So, but we did wind up having the match on Sunday versus the El Paso Locomotive. In the second minute, things got started with the Legion FC awarded a free kick. And then in the 24th minute, El Paso wound up getting awarded a free kick as well, but the Legion FC wound up clearing it out. They did finally get one past Matt Van Oekel there in the 25th minute, but Ronaldo Damus was able to tie things up by finding the back of the net in the 29th minute. After a very physical game, Tyler Pasher wound up getting shown a yellow card in stoppage time of the first half for the game's only real disciplinary action there. But Ronaldo wound up getting his second in the second half, going off of a rebound in the 61st minute to take the lead for the Birmingham Legion FC. And then in stoppage time, Dawson McCartney wound up netting his first goal of the season, putting it away for the Legion there. After the game, we got a chance to talk to Dawson McCartney, and he opened up about his feelings after the win.
Just excited to get going. I mean, it's been a tough start. I mean, we feel like we've had a bit of a rough go, obviously, with everything that happened this past week, and it just felt amazing to get our first win at home and in front of our fans. And obviously, for me personally, it was amazing to get my first goal.
Then he got to talking about managing his emotions, during the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of emotions. It's been a tough week. Obviously, we were caught off guard with everything that went on, and to be able to turn things around and focus on the game, and obviously going down early, and you never want that to happen. And it just shows we have a group that's able to react and adapt to things that are going on in the field, and we turned around and got 3 points.
Then he got to talking about moving forward and what this team is doing.
I mean, I think we need to celebrate it right now, but the second tomorrow starts, we focus on the next game and we keep moving. We have to start building for the whole season. The first win's good, but second one's even better, third one's even better, and we just keep going from there.
Then we had the opportunity to talk to Matt Van Oekel. He opened up talking about the importances of managing his emotions through the game.
It was massive. We're getting back on track. Emotions were high today, this past week. I mean, it's been a roller coaster, but I mean, there's still nothing better than 3 points. So I'm glad we're back in the win column, and hopefully we can look forward to putting a run together.
Then he talked about the mentality of this team this past week.
Obviously, it was rough. It was tough. I mean, I'm still quite emotional about it. But I mean, I think we're all looking forward to helping Avi, helping this organization to get back to the promised lands and the postseasons and everything else. So, I mean, getting Avi his first win as a head coach and stuff like that is massive. And you could see the guys really rally behind it this week.
He then closed things out about talking about Coach Sohn's departure.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be rough. I mean, he's been more than just my head coach, more than just a mentor. I mean, he's been everything to me. and he gave me the shot 7 years ago, and so I'm looking. I will forever be grateful for every minute that I got to spend with him, and I look forward to having a chat with him this evening.
Very emotional in Matt Van Oekel there. I mean, it brings up the emotions for anybody that's had passion for this team. But we also caught up with Ronaldo Damos, and he started out discussing his emotions after the win.
I feel like so happy after 4 games. On the fifth, we win. That we need that. But I feel so happy where we was and now where we're gonna.
Then he talked about the difficulty in getting the win after losing Coach Sone.
It's I know it wasn't easy. It's so sucks for everybody in the team. But that happened in life. But we just turn that over to move forward. But we know it's hurt everybody in the team. But just life.
Then he closed it out talking about his frustration of missing out on the hat trick on Sunday.
Yes, because it's been it's been 2 or 3 weeks since I didn't score a hat trick. But today I get the chance to do the hat trick. But that didn't happen. But I'm piece off.
We ended up ending things talking to interim head coach Eric Avila. He opened up talking about his emotions after the win.
Happy, excited, but also, a lot of things to work on, especially moving forward. But it's one of those relief things that a very positive vibe for the group, and I think that's important.
Then he talked about what this win means as being his first as a head coach.
I mean, listen, it feels great, but I think from where we started and where we are now, it's also from with Tommy and all that build up through, because I have to put some props with Tommy and how he built it and where we are now, and so I just wanted to keep, for myself and for the team, I just want to keep it moving forward as much as we can, and to have the first points or whatever, it feels great, but it's also a sign for us to just keep moving forward and hopefully get day by day.
Then he talked about his thoughts on the team being able to come back after going down a goal early.
I think it shows character for the team that we have. I think we had a good game plan going in, and what was good about the guys is that if anything does happen in a way, we just stick with our game plan and continue to move forward. And I think the guys showed well in the second half, or when we were a goal down, to keep pushing into our game plan. And so it showed a lot of character and it showed a lot of build in what we want to do.
He then discussed the mentality of this team in the locker room after the win.
It's always hard to lose a coach, right? So that's probably for some players, it's always a first, and it's very difficult, right? So for us, how can we push the guys to go forward and move forward and be in a positive way? And usually a win like this helps the whole team out. And I think the guys were excited and happy, but most importantly that we got 3 points. And 3 points is what matters in the league right now, and I think that's what all excitement was for.
Then he talked about Ronaldo and how great it is to have him on the team.
He's a guy that's, you just never know about Ronaldo. Is he's a guy that's just so in and out that a lot of people don't realize that how dangerous he can be, or he is. I don't know. From day one, he just puts his head down and works, and that's who he is. And we know exactly what we're gonna get from Ronaldo. And for us, you can't count Ronaldo out.
He finally closed things out with talking about the plan moving forward.
Tomorrow we're in, right? So tomorrow we're in and we're working again, and it's going to be day by day. Honestly, we're trying to build and build and build, but I think tomorrow we're in, we're going in, and we're already focusing on Hartford, and that's the game plan.
But overall, great win for this team. Amazing to see how well this team worked together and didn't let what happened the past week get them down, and they wound up coming together, getting the win, and just using the momentum and the emotion to their advantage this past week. So, but in closing, we've got the Bulls in the semifinals for the President's Cup playoffs. We have the Stallions going to the Houston Roughnecks. I almost said the Houston Gamblers, but we also have the Legion match this coming up week, and the homestand for the Birmingham Barons. So make sure you attend one of the games. They're home all season. I know all week. So make sure you get out there to a game. But that's all we got for this week. I hope you guys have a great night.